Ever have that weird feeling, like memory you're absolutely sure about, concrete, solid, just isn't right?
Hmm.
Today we're diving into something that really messes with that sense of certainty, where reality itself seems, well, a bit fuzzy around the edges.
We are talking about the Mandela Effect, and yeah, just the name gives some people chills, doesn't it?
It does. It comes from that really widespread memory people had or have that Nelson Mandela died way back, in prison.
Right, decades before he actually passed away in 2013. It's bizarre.
It is. And it's not just one person getting it wrong. It's huge groups, sometimes millions, all remembering the exact same incorrect detail. So our mission today, our deep dive, is to unpack this, look at some of the most famous examples.
We've gone through a lot of material, documentaries, articles, firsthand accounts, trying to get a handle on this phenomenon.
What really grabs you about the Mandela effect is that shared conviction. It's not like, oh, maybe I misheard. People are often adamant.
Exactly. There's this profound shock, this cognitive dissonance when your rock-solid memory clashes head-on with, well, reality as it stands now.
And yeah, you could say it's just memory playing tricks. Brains aren't perfect recorders.
Yeah, that's the standard explanation.
But the sheer number of people and the consistency of these specific false memories, it feels like something more might be going on. It's unsettling.
It really can be. One source we looked at even warned, digging into this too deep can genuinely shake someone's fundamental view of the world. That mismatch is powerful.
Okay, so let's get concrete. Let's talk examples. Movies are a great place to start, right? These iconic moments we think we know so well.
Definitely. Let's start with maybe the biggest one, Star Wars.
The big reveal.
Yeah.
Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. What's the line?
Okay, so what exists now is Vader saying, "No, I am your father."
Right. But ask anyone, or almost anyone, and they'll likely say,
Luke, I am your father. It just sounds right somehow. More dramatic, maybe.
it does. And the weird thing is, apparently even James Earl Jones,
Yeah.
Vader's voice, reportedly thought the Luke version was a deliberate misdirect in the script when he first saw it. Like, even he perceived it differently initially.
That's fascinating. Why does the Luke version stick? Maybe it's that direct address, calling him by name.
Could be. Okay, let's switch gears. Snow White, the evil queen, her mirror. What does she say first?
Instantly, my brain goes, mirror, mirror on the wall.
Mine too. That's just ingrained.
But nope. In the actual Disney movie, it's magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all?
Magic mirror and one of all. It's slightly different, but mirrors everywhere. It's the cultural memory.
Totally. Okay, next up. Field of Dreams. That whisper in the corn.
If you build it, they will come. That's the quote, right? The inspirational bit.
That's the one everyone seems to remember, end quote. It feels universal.
But the film actually says, if you build it, he will come. Talking about Costner's character's dad.
It's much more personal in the movie.
Yeah, but the they version is just dominant. Go online, look at fan stuff, memes. It's almost always they. It's like the collective memory overwrote the original.
That happens a lot with these. The wrong version gets repeated and just reinforces itself.
Okay.
How about Jaws? That moment of pure panic.
Oh, yeah. Brody sees the shark properly for the first time, and he says,
We're going to need a bigger boat. It's perfect.
it feels perfect, but the line is actually, you're going to need a bigger boat.
Huh. Subtle shift. Again.
It is. The we're feels more, I don't know, collaborative in its terror. Let's do Forrest Gump. Life in chocolates.
Easy one. Life is like a box of chocolates. Everyone knows that.
Except the movie line is, life was like a box of chocolates. Past tense.
Was, right
Yeah.
now.
And this one's got layers. There's apparently behind-the-scenes stuff where Tom Hanks does say is.
No way.
Yeah. Didn't make the final cut, though. And David Letterman supposedly quoted it as is at the Oscars one year. It's like these echoes.
Echoes of another version, maybe. That's what some people would say. These little bits of residual evidence are key for many believers.
Okay, another iconic one. Silence of the Lambs. Hannibal Lecter's greeting.
Hello, Clarice.
Chilling. Unforgettable.
Unforgettable, maybe, but apparently. Not actually in the movie.
Wait, what? Seriously?
Seriously. He says good morning, I think, and other things, but that specific phrase, hello, Clarice, isn't there.
That's genuinely mind-blowing. It's such a famous line.
I know. Okay, one more movie one. Moonraker. James Bond.
Ah, Jaws and Dolly. The big guy with the metal teeth finds love.
Right. And what do people remember bringing them together? That shared smile.
Braces. They both had braces, right? That was the cute, funny connection.
That's the memory. But if you watch it now, Dolly has perfectly normal teeth. No braces.
So the whole connection makes less sense.
Kind of, yeah. For people who remember the braces, it feels jarring. And again, there's supposed residual evidence, like old commercials where the actress did have braces.
Wow. Okay. It really does make you wonder. Right. So let's move beyond movies. What about, like, logos and brands, stuff we see all the time?
Oh, yeah, there's another huge area. Back to Star Wars for a second. C-3PO, what color is he?
Gold, obviously. Shiny gold.
That's the image, right? Solid gold. But in the original trilogy films, he actually has a silver leg, right leg below the knee.
Get out! A silver leg.
Yep, it's there if you look. But the collective memory is just gold. Though some very early merchandise might have been all gold, complicating things.
It's like our brain just simplifies it to gold robot. Okay, what about the Berenstain Bears?
Ah, the classic. How do you remember spelling that name?
Beerin, S-T-E-I-N, with an E. Definitely with an E.
That's how almost everyone remembers it. It just looks right with an E. But the actual official spelling has always been Baron, S-T-A-I-N, with an A.
Always, but I swear I've seen books with the E.
And that's the really weird part. People have found photos of old VHS tapes, TV guides, even articles that seem to show the E spelling. It's like reality shifted or the records changed.
That's more than just bad memory.
Mm-hmm.
That's strange. Are there others like that?
Mm-hmm.
Logos people misremember.
Loads. The Ford logo, some people are sure there wasn't always that little curly flourish on the F.
I think I know the crow you mean.
And there's Volvo, that arrow symbol, the male symbol. Some don't remember that being part of the logo at all.
Okay.
And Volkswagen, the VW emblem. People remember the V and W touching completely without that little horizontal split between them.
Tiny details, but if you remember it vividly the other way.
Exactly. And it's not just visual stuff. Remember that TV show, Sarah Jessica Parker in New York?
Sex in the City.
That's what so many people say. Feels natural.
But it's Sex in the City. Always has been, apparently.
Yep. And again, people point to old online articles, maybe even some knockoff merchandise that uses in residuals.
Okay, one more brand one. Peanut butter.
Ah, Jif or Jiffy.
It was Jiffy. I ate Jiffy peanut butter.
So many people share that exact memory with absolute certainty. But the brand name is, and seemingly always has been, just Jif.
Jiffy sounds so right.
It does. And interestingly, you can sometimes find old menus, like in diners, that still list Jiffy burgers using that name. Another echo, maybe?
This is genuinely baffling.
Yeah.
How can so many people share these specific wrong memories? And it goes beyond movies and brands too, right? Geography.
Yeah, there are some geographical anomalies people report, like remembering a big island off the west coast of Australia that just isn't there now.
An island.
Yeah, some even point to an old globe in the movie Dazed and Confused that seems to show it. And there's the real case of Sandy Island near New Caledonia, which was on maps for ages and then officially declared non-existent.
Vanished. Wow.
Others remember Greenland being much smaller or Australia being way more isolated, further from Asia.
And even anatomy.
Some people have distinct memories of the human skeleton being different, particularly the rib cage, maybe not fully connecting at the back in the way it does.
Okay, that's getting really fundamental. And then there are the reported changes in the Bible.
This is a really sensitive area for many, but yes, people who know the texts well report changes.
Like what?
Wording in the Lord's Prayer, for instance, some remember trespasses, where it now often says debts or sins, or the ending being different, lead us not into temptation, versus adding, but deliver us from evil. There are accounts of passages mentioning cornfields in the Middle East, even though corn, maize, is a New World crop. It used to say grain fields, apparently.
That doesn't make historical sense.
Exactly. Or wineskins becoming bottles, which changes the meaning of parables about old versus new. Even commands attributed to Jesus in Matthew, changing from telling disciples to wake to telling them to sleep.
Those sound like significant changes in meaning.
Very. And probably the most famous one is Isaiah 11.6. The prophecy about a peaceful kingdom. People remember the lion shall lie down with the lamb.
That's the image, isn't it? Lion and lamb, peace.
It's powerful imagery. But the verse now commonly reads, the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb.
Woof. It doesn't have quite the same ring to it.
Not quite the same contrast of predator and prey, some argue. And again, people point to older sermons, artwork, references that used lion.
And there was another more controversial one.
Yes, in Luke 19.27, a line attributed to Jesus in a parable, but those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. Many find this addition incredibly jarring and don't remember it being there.
Okay, so, wow. We have movies, logos, geography, even scripture. What on earth could be causing all this? What are the theories?
Well, the simplest mainstream explanation is just collective false memory, confabulation on a mass scale.
Like our brains filling in gaps, maybe influenced by popular culture, getting details mixed up over time.
Exactly. Psychologists have shown how easy it is to implant false memories, like that experiment where they convinced people they'd met Bugs Bunny at Disneyland, which is impossible since Bugs is Warner Bros.
Okay, so memory is faulty, but does that explain everything? The consistency, the residuals?
That's where the other theories come in. More out there theories.
Well,
Like parallel universes. The idea that maybe our reality somehow merged or we shifted into a slightly different timeline where these details are different.
so in another universe, it was Luke, I am your father, and Berenstain Bears.
That's the idea. Then there's simulation theory.
That we're living in a giant computer program.
Right. And these discrepancies are glitches, bugs in the code, or maybe even deliberate updates or changes made by the programmers. Someone famous even said the equations governing our universe look suspiciously like computer code.
Okay, that's a big leap. What else?
CERN, the Large Hadron Collider. There's a persistent theory that smashing particles together at such high energies might be, punching holes in reality, causing timelines to bleed into each other.
I've heard that one. People point to the timing, the collider ramping up.
Right. And the fact that some scientists there have openly discussed searching for evidence of parallel universes. Plus, there's that statue of Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction and creation right outside CERN, which fuels speculation. Stephen Hawking supposedly even warned about the potential dangers.
Didn't CERN itself kind of joke about the Mandela Effect?
They did, yeah, in one of their own videos, which some took as dismissive, others as maybe a hint. It's all interpretation.
So, simulation, parallel universes, CERN. Any other explanations?
Well, you get into more conspiratorial ideas like mass mind control or psyops, governments deliberately altering records or memories for some purpose.
Okay.
And then there are more spiritual or supernatural interpretations that some force, divine or otherwise, is subtly changing things, maybe as a sign or for reasons we can't comprehend.
So it runs the gamut from simple psychology to, well, reality itself being fundamentally unstable.
Pretty much. There's no single accepted answer that satisfies everyone or explains all the examples perfectly.
It really is a deep mystery, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's just our brains playing tricks on a massive scale or evidence of something far stranger happening beneath the surface of reality.
It absolutely is. It forces you to think about memory, about history, about the very nature of what's real.
So think about these examples we've discussed. Do any resonate particularly strongly with you? Do you have memories that just don't line up with the way things are now? Could it all just be faulty wiring in our heads? Or is it possible that the past, our shared past, isn't quite as fixed as we always assumed?
What if those shared glitches aren't glitches at all?
It's definitely something to ponder, a true journey beyond the known.